Good morning.
Good
So,
morning.
happy Saturday. We are going to be discussing this morning lights, camera, sold, and the power of professional photos to sell your home for more. Because ultimately, that's what you are looking for. And we say this quite a lot, but a picture might speak 1,000 words, but it can also be worth tens of thousands of pounds when it actually comes to selling your home. Not just getting it live, but actually getting it sold and getting that offer secured. Because let's face it, we live in a time of short attention spans. We've just been discussing that. Um, much like the ruthless culture of obviously dating apps, dare I say it. And for those that maybe do know, obviously, photo, if it doesn't catch a buyer's right eye, then they'll just swipe left and scroll
Mhm.
along, bit like the dating scene. So the question is then, what is the secret to kind of stopping them in the tracks and catching their eye? And it's those kind of beautiful, really eye-catching images taken by a qualified professional using that really high grade equipment and an estate agent with a smartphone for all of the photography
Click, click,
doesn't
click,
really
click.
put it, and you can see it in the shadows, and then it's just not great, is it? We've seen we've seen it. Now there is plenty that you can do to kind of amplify the kind of expertise behind the camera. What do they look like, Perry? What are some of the tips?
So some of our top tips is quick tidying tips for perfect pictures. That's what you need to look
Mhm.
at. So we're going to cover that, and that'll help you basically stage your home to make it look wow and pop. Exactly what you've said there, Sophie. Essential photos that you need as well for winning that listing. So when we talk about that, we're probably talk about how we would do it, and we're talking
Mhm.
about aerial photographs. We're talking about if you're backing onto a golf course, letting people see that because it's the lifestyle, it's the pop, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maximizing space as well with wide angle photography. And so, how you
Mhm.
can be imaginative with that and quite creative with that as well is a good thing. Highlighting details with close up shots as well. A lot of the properties we go into have got great cornicing, ceiling roses, lovely log burners, all those
Yeah.
little things, picture windows. So, these are the things you want to really zoom into and have a real good feature property picture of that.
Mhm.
Um, and we're going to also look at your shopping list and what you really need to be buying or creating to create that show-stopping staging home. So I think that's
Mhm.
some of the things that we're going to be talking over. And what you're looking really to do is make your home look ready for that success, isn't it? At the end of the
Yeah.
day, you want to market it. You take pride in it anyway, so you want it to look fantastic. Of course you do, because you're going to be sharing it with all your friends, and you want everyone to see it. And you want your buyers to be really excited and motivated by it. We're coming into spring as well, so springtime, more properties coming on. You're going to be competing, so the most you can do to get yours to pop over someone else's, the better. So we're going to unlock some of those secrets and talk that over today, Sophie, aren't we?
Absolutely, we are. So, first things first, then is the basic tidying, and we were speaking about this even in obviously our spring show, and really having that spring clean now that kind of spring has sprung, if you like, and it really is kind of tidying, but it is quick tips and little quick wins to help make those perfect pictures. So even if you know that the tidy homes look better on camera, you maybe don't have time to do that full declutter before the photo shoot. So it is
Mm-hmm.
really trying to do those quick fixes. So it's a quick fix with a maximum impact.
Yeah.
And there'll be plenty of wee little sneaky cheats to kind of capture those marvelous shots. Even if it's following, sometimes we've seen it following the photographer around and moving things out the way as they go around. We've all done it.
Yeah.
But it all starts, it's just little things, and it all starts with the curb appeal as well. So
Mm-hmm.
outside as well. So for example, wheelie bins. Oh, move them out the way.
Oh, I
Get
know.
get them moved. Absolutely. Is there a car on the driveway? Move the car off the driveway. Let us see how big
Yeah.
it is, especially if it's blocking a garage, perhaps, or is it blocking a big part of the property? So it creates that block. Um, and then it's about prim and proper when we step inside the property. So opening blinds and curtains. Not only does it just look like you've not just got out of bed and you've not even opened your curtains, curtains yet, but also it lets that natural light flood in, because that is what it's all about as well. It needs to be bright. It needs to be really inviting to show the space off. So please make the bed as well. Make sure that bed is obviously tidy and it's sitting perfect. Now, you know, we're not expecting these things. You don't need to go and buy all the cushions and all the throws and add a great expense. Just make the bed. It's as simple as that. And have it in, if you've got a few cushions, perfect. You don't need to go overboard. Make sure they're plumped and it doesn't look like you've just, again, rolled out of bed. Put in rugs and throws. And another big one, and I do it all the time, is in your bathrooms. Please remember, just take a wee second to just close the toilet seat lid.
Yeah.
Because nobody needs to see that, even if it's the most cleanest toilet in Fife.
It's such a big thing, isn't it? Actually, you know, when I don't know if you do this, Sophie, but certainly for me, any time that I go out to do my pre-portals or my personal property tours, so that's our walking, talking videos to promote the property and the lifestyle you have, the first thing I do is go into all the bathrooms and WCs and make sure the lids are down, because there's nothing worse when you go in with the camera, and especially if the toilet bowl's straight in front of the door. It's just the thing that people focus on, isn't it? And it's all just seems tidier when the lid's down, doesn't it? It's a small thing, but it's actually a big thing.
Absolutely. It really is, definitely. And then think about as well clear surfaces, so doing a kind of surface sweep, and you know, kitchen worktops and we're not expecting you to strip it bare. That's not what we want. We don't want it to feel clinical and not like it's a lived-in home. That's not what we're looking for, but we're just wanting it to be clear. Is there unnecessary items that are actually making it too crowded? And they can't see all the space that they've got to work with? Coffee tables are the same, sideboards are the same, nightstands. Yes, have things on them, but don't have them overwhelming, but also don't strip them back. But a good one with this, and we keep speaking about it in our shows, is the decluttering blog that we've got. That will be perfect for this, to give you great insights into how to get it just right. Same with the spring campaign as well, how we speak about just having a single stem flower in a little dainty vase on your nightstand. Little things that aren't too much. Obviously something that you mentioned quite a bit, Perrie, as well, is that having that kind of bowl of citrus fruit as well sitting on the table.
Especially in the kitchen, it just looks great, doesn't it? All that burst of pop of colour.
Definitely. And that can be inexpensive as well. Just something as simple as that. It's inexpensive but has a great effect. Something you're seeing as well is
your family are going to eat it, so it's not going to be wasted.
Some family, yes, maybe not me, but yes, some family. Stylish books as well. People do those, they're kind of the wee stacks, but just remember, keep it polished as well. And then another one is thinking about, yes, you have items, you're still your home, you're still living in it. You obviously want to still feel comfortable in that space while you are going through the sale process, but just be clever with things, you know, remote controls, bathroom products, bins, laundry baskets. If you've got all of the kind of shenanigans for doing your dishes, you know, this sponge, that product, that you don't need to have it out of the sink all the time. Pet bowls, for example, because as well, people see things like that and automatically mindset pets, animals, and what that comes with.
All the toys and rugs and mats and everything that comes with. It's great to get those out of the way, isn't it?
Yes, just get them tucked away.
Things as well, when we're talking about the work surfaces, what you mentioned there, the couple of things really just to kind of point out. For me as well, it's making sure that those surfaces are polished and clean as well, so that everything is gleaming. I think that's a real big thing. But actually, when you were talking earlier, Sophie, as well about driveways, I did a pre-portal today at a client's house, and actually I didn't mention it to them beforehand, but as part of their preparation since I was last out to today, that was only a week later, they have got monoblock driveways. So what they've done is they've cleaned it all up and they put fresh sand and everything down. So see, when I arrived to do the pre-portal, it just really popped, and really inexpensive to do as well, something that they just did on their own, but it really made a big difference. And it's that curb appeal again, isn't it? It's that, brilliant, before I've even got in the door, I feel that this house has been cared for and looked after. So that's a real big thing as well, because it's a positive. We deal in emotions when we go to houses, don't we? So it's what we're hearing, what we're seeing, what we're smelling. So I think when I saw that today, I thought, this looks great. I'm quite chuffed that they've done that.
Brilliant.
Buyers will see the same thing.
Yeah, and they'll have appreciated, and they'll be glad the fact that straight away you noticed that as well. So they'll know actually it was 100% the right thing to do.
Yeah, definitely.
They'll appreciate that as well. And then finally, then on this kind of topic, then it's the last kind of ditch dash, if you like. You know, if time's super tight, which we appreciate because everybody's got busy schedules, they've got lives, you're trying to juggle everything. Think about, again, it's the quick wins. So kind of stash odd ends in boxes or kind of bin bags. And I mean, I've seen myself do it sometimes if I need to have a clear space. Sometimes my car becomes my second storage area. Just photography. You know,
Garages are great. Throw it all in there.
yeah,
Everyone else does.
absolutely. And it's kind of just get it anywhere, just to get it out of the shop for a quick win, and then over time you can gradually declutter and work your way through it, because we want it to look prime for the photography. Because it'd be a shame to, if we're doing all of this, to then just kind of put all the clutter back. So if you are really, really kind of busy and you know you're getting pulled from pillar to post, then think about particular ways that you could deal with that clutter. Is there an alternative place it could go while we're going through this process? If you are planning to move anyway, do we just need to declutter bit by bit and make it manageable? Would it make actually your move easier for the next steps as well? Perhaps doing a kind of local storage, you know, could you rent something? Or maybe even speak to a family member. Have they got an empty attic sitting that you could take full advantage of? It doesn't even, again, you don't need to be thinking about an expense and doing a storage. Have you got a family member that you could do you a little favor? So there's all different things, but that's certainly a great thing to start. But then a big thing is the photo. So what makes a winning listing, Perrie?
I think a strong listing absolutely depends on how great your photos look. I think that's a must-have. You need to have really good photos. It's about picking the right ones as well. So nobody wants to look at a staircase, an upper landing, unless you've got an inner hallway that is absolutely stunning and got nice cabinetry and beautiful things there. But if you're taking a photo of a hallway and it's just got coats and boots and shoes and things, then nobody really wants to see that, don't they? So it's about making sure that you do that. So the hero shots stop people from scrolling as well, don't they? So, you know, if you see something and it's like that driveway, the minute you capture the first part of it, you think, oh, this looks interesting. And it makes you want to keep looking. What you don't want to do is that first photo that comes up is the nah photo. And then basically people just go, nah, I'm not even going to bother looking at anything else. That's the worst thing you can happen. So the first thing really is your external photo needs to be a fantastic one. And then you need something within the property that's going to make people want to pull in. So what is the wow room? For me, that would definitely want to be in there. And also, if you've got great garden space, that's a wow thing as well. So you definitely want to be wise when you're doing that. You want to rotate the images if you can as well. That's always a good thing, so that people don't get blindsided effectively by just seeing maybe one or two things, and actually then see the rotation of the photos. That's a really good thing. And it keeps the property listing fresh as well. So I think that's a real important part. So the view from the street, as we say, when we're talking about the house, that first impression really does matter. So I think it's really important to have a great photo of the outside. If you're in a property that is surrounded by others, you're maybe in a fourplex, you may be semi-detached. Again, it's important to make sure that your property actually stands out from the block. Because sometimes, I don't know about you, Sophie, but I've seen it. Sometimes you're looking at the listing, you think, which house is it that's actually being listed? You're not quite sure. So because maybe it's been taken too far away and you're seeing the full block of both houses, or the angle's wrong and you're not sure, is it upstairs, is it downstairs? I don't know what it is that I'm potentially going to be buying here. And then you've got to dig deeper to find it and look for the description. And by that point, I don't know about you, but that 30 seconds of my interests, it's gone and I'm on to the next thing.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
That's really important. So definitely make sure that's the case, that you've got your first impressions from your outside. The front of your home should capture that tidy entrance that we talk about. You should be doing it at the right time of day as well. So you want to capture as much light as you can. You don't want to be doing it potentially on a rainy, dull day. Sometimes that can't be helped, and we've just got to deal with the weather. But, you know, if the prime time to take the photo outside your home would be midday because the sun's shining on your front garden, then that's when you want to take the photo. There's no point in doing it at 4 p.m. when it's all dull and the sun's round the back. So, you know, these are things to just think about as well. So take advantage of the sunshine in your gardens as well, I think, is a major thing when you're looking to do your listing. The heart of the home as well is the next thing for me. So that's your designer kitchen. That's your fantastic lounge. It's your open plan area, if that's what you have. If you've got a snug, then it's the snug. If you've got the room with the log burner in it, then that's what people want to see. You know, if you've got the stunning fireplace, again, those are the things that really grab people. The family hub part, you know, that's the room where everyone's going to come to, because when anyone's buying a home, that's what they're thinking about. So that stunning kitchen that's maybe got an island in it, or it's got a lovely dining area and it's beautifully and glossy, or, you know, whatever it is, if that's the main part of your home, then you really want to be going with that as a kind of starting point photograph as well. Those are the areas that buyers love to see, and that's the thing that kind of brings them in, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, because as you said as well, and that's what our personal property tour videos are, it's also showcasing that, because people are driven by emotion, and as you say, it's the heart of the home, so people want to see that because they just then visualize themselves, how will I live in that space? So absolutely,
that works for me, isn't it? I think as well, the higher perspective that we spoke about, so when I mentioned earlier there about golf courses or things like that, but if you've got a home that's perhaps surrounded by land, so maybe you've got a cottage or a farmhouse, or you're beside the seaside, or you've got a golf course behind or in front, or you've got beautiful, if you're down in West Beams, for instance, maybe, and you've got that beautiful sea view, you know, you want to be taking a photo of the top of the house out towards whatever it is that you're looking at, so that other people can see it. Because if you don't do that, then actually you're just like every other listing and all I'm seeing is walls. But if you've got this real show-stopping part that's outside, it's so important to be able to show that and really demonstrate it. So again, if you've got an agent that hasn't got aerial photography, you might want to consider that. You know, if you've got the golf course around you, or you're in a great location, the beach is just around the corner, you want to be able to show those things. Our location tours are brilliant for that, aren't they? Because it just shows you where everything is on the map around you. So again, that's something that's really important for me as well. And I think that you've got to have really good quality aerial photos. Regular cameras just can't capture that if you're looking to do that and promote that stunning surrounding. And also, actually, if you are, say, a cottage with other cottages around you and you've got a piece of land, the aerial photo is great as well for actually showing the whole area, but also then mapping out your plot. So again, it's all very well having an aerial photograph, but again, it goes back to my earlier comment. If you've got the aerial photograph and you're kind of looking down and going, well, where's the house? What garden comes with this? So you really need to have that mapped out, don't you?
Absolutely.
So for me, those are really key things. And any decent agent should recommend that that's what you do and give you those ideal shots of what you should be getting taken for it. You want to capture the features of the home, as I say, and all those special moments that you have enjoyed in those particular areas. It's great for you to then present that in your photographs, in your aerial photography, just to let other people see how much they can enjoy the house as well. So I think for me, that's the essential part of a winning listing as far as photos are concerned.
Absolutely. And I think a bit like you said with the location talk, I always say to clients, it's like that one-stop shop. They don't have to, in just that one listing that we have, they don't need to then go on the back of that and go, where's the nearest school? Where's the nearest train station? We've done all of that for them. Everything is there. It's just a one-stop shop. All they need to think about is, what's my offer going to be?
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. We've done everything for them. So it is definitely a crucial part. But then kind of following on from the photography then, it's then about maximizing the space, kind of with that wide angle photography. And I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of photographers here, but it probably is their best friend. Having that wide angle lens, offering that kind of fuller view of each room, because it then gives that open and inviting feel to the space, but it does need to be done correctly. That again is the key, and that's what a professional photographer will be able to do without kind of distorting it and using it incorrectly. But it's all about keeping it natural. Cameras need to be set at eye level, because that's automatically where people are drawn to, is eye level, rather than being too high or too low. Windows usually look their best when kind of vertically centered for more of a balanced image. Then as well, we think frame with care, showing as much of the room as possible without kind of warping the perspective and it not looking a true representation is key as well. And again, that comes down to professional photographer and knowing what they're doing. Yes, they've got the great equipment, but do they actually know what they're doing with it? That's key. So we really, really don't want to make fake, spaces look falsely large. Bit like you said on the spring campaign, size really does matter, Perrie, and we don't want to be making it look, you know,
Well, people are
larger
going
than
to be, yeah, and people are going to be disappointed, aren't they? Because then when they get there, it's not really what they thought they were seeing. And so there is
correct.
a disappointment there. And I think that's where the fact that we have the photography part and then we do that video walkthrough,
Yeah,
that the pre-portal, the personal property tour, you actually feel like you're in the room. And I think that's a big thing. And then if you back that up with great photographs as well, then actually then it is a true representation of what the property looks like, isn't it?
absolutely, definitely. And that's why it's always great if you hear a client actually say, "Oh, room's actually bigger than it's bigger than I thought." That's what you'd rather hear than, "Oh, it's a lot smaller than," because actually the photo made it look a lot bigger. This is a lot
Yeah.
smaller. They already came in thinking it was a big room anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and then they get through the door and it actually feels even bigger. You would
Yeah,
much rather that,
of course.
definitely, rather than, "Oh, it's too small. The camera made it look bigger." That is
Mm-hmm.
not what you want to be hearing.
Not at all.
And then as well, think about the edges. So walls and corners, they should be kept straight. Kind of wonky angles, it's just going to make spaces look odd. And as well, probably people are thinking, what have they done to make it look like that? And then they'll
Mm-hmm.
probably start questioning your photography. And are we over editing something here? What are we doing to make it so wonky?
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
professionals.
confusing, isn't it?
Mhm,
It
absolutely.
confuses them. And if I was looking at something and then I suddenly felt confusion, I'd be thinking, again, I'm just going to swipe now because I actually don't know what this room is.
Correct. Absolutely. We need to make it as easy as possible. So then, in a nutshell, a wide angle lens in expert hands shows off the true character and style of your rooms
Mm-hmm.
without creating that unrealistic expectation.
Yeah.
And that, again, is a key to targeting the right buyers and reducing those wasted viewings, because
Yeah.
that is not what we want. We don't want to be wasting our sellers' time, potential buyers' time.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to be getting anybody's hopes up. So we want a true representation, and that is down to a professional photographer.
Absolutely, because there's a big anxiety around it as well for the sellers, isn't there? You know, they're excited. They may have already found their forever home. They need to sell their home to be able to achieve that. And there's an excitement, but there's also the work that they put in to prepare the home on the day of the viewing as well. And then if the viewer comes and it's not gone the way that we would like because we haven't represented it properly, then that's a real big disappointment for everyone, isn't it?
Absolutely, definitely. That's not what we want. Definitely not.
Yeah.
So then spoke about wide angle, and we've kind of touched on really slightly close-up shots, but how important are they, would you say?
Oh, I think they're a great way of showing the big picture of the house, aren't they? Getting those close-up shots really captures the detail, the finer details of the home, and I think that's really important. Those are the things that create the emotion when people see it. So, you know, if there is a log burner and you're taking a close-up photo of it, instantly you're thinking, oh, that's warm, that's going to be cozy, that's going to be nice in the winter. So it's all this positive vibe that you're getting from it, isn't it? So I think, you know, we've got to go for those areas where we can appeal to the buyer and really make them focus on all the good things about the house. So I think textures and qualities are a good thing. So, you know, if there's wood grain, if there's stone, if there's soft furnishings, these subtle different bits that communicate warmth, as we said, you know, with the log burner and things like that. I think people like to see warmth. They like to think craftsmanship because they feel, well, actually, I'm getting really good value with this house because it's got all these great spots that I want to have. Oops, sorry, that's somebody at the door. They want to be able to see all these great things that you can get from a house, don't they? And they want to see the character features as well. You know, they want something different. If you've got a traditional property and you've got a lovely traditional fireplace within it, that's just such a great thing. The intricate cornicing, the ceiling roses, the contemporary materials that maybe are used that make that house slightly different to others. Beautiful bits of joinery. So if there's wooden beams around the fire, if there's wooden beams being used as worktops in kitchens, things like that are really seen as real quality as far as the perceived value of the property is. And I think that that's really important as well, because then the buyer really thinks, actually, I'm really going to be getting a top-notch house here. And that's what you want them to feel when they come and see the house. And those close-ups really get that, the power of that image makes the difference to them, I think.
Definitely. And it's not something again, that all agents do either. So again, that's going to make your listing stand out
Mhm.
because you want to showcase and really maximize on those features, but not all agents do close-ups. And some of the ones, I was just working on a listing, and the close-up photography that has been done on some of the features, and it's even as simple as the photographer's taking a picture of the name plaque at the front door. And
Mhm.
even just that in itself is just a great introduction, because it is just showcasing, okay, that is the name of what my property is going to be, that's where
Yeah.
I'm going into. And it's all those intricate details, and it shows that it's not just another listing.
Yeah,
This is what I'm
exactly.
buying into.
You
Definitely.
want your property to look different, and everybody wants to see that, don't they? And for you as the seller as well, you've probably invested a great deal of effort, time, perhaps financial commitment to those features. You
Yep.
want everyone else to be able to see it and appreciate it, don't you?
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
the lifestyle moments as well. You know, if you've got a lovely nook in the breakfasting area in the kitchen, that's great to show that, because again, people are visualizing sitting there with their families. The roaring fire, as we've spoken about as well, that's always a big plus for me. Every time I go in a house and I see one, I go, oh, brilliant. You already know
Yeah.
you're going to be focused on that in the room. I think those things really make a big difference. If you've got like a nice little reading corner, we've got a property at the moment that we've got on the market that's got a lovely nook that they're using as a reading, relaxing area. And I think that's great to be able to show those things off. It's all about selling the dream, isn't it? It's about making the buyers feel that they're getting more than just the bricks. They're getting this comforting space that they want to bring their family into. They're getting a lifestyle with the house. And that's really important, because that's what makes you stand out from everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So the next thing,
Yeah.
this is your part, the
Yes.
show stopping staging. So staging a house, Sophie, what would be your tips around that?
Okay. So we're not expecting, again, we're thinking, we want maximum impact, but try and keep, it affordable and achievable. So you don't need to reinvent your rooms to turn them into photogenic spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And even just a tip that you mentioned on the selling in spring, Perry, about how you moved even those cushions into that room and those cushions into that room, and actually just swapped and took a few things away. You never actually went and purchased anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You just moved things around, and it reinvented the space.
Yeah.
And that is something as simple as that, but it is adding a few well-placed props that can transform its look, and you're going to be taking it all with you anyway.
Yeah.
So if you do have to move things around or change things, add things, put things, but it all starts with textures and layering. Now, fabric does make a space feel more inviting and welcoming, whether it be your cushions, your throws, your rugs for textures, or
Mm-hmm.
perhaps a runner. Even if it's maybe you don't want your table completely dressed. If you have a dining table, you don't want it completely dressed and set all the time, but even just something as simple as a runner and just a vase of flowers, something like that. Having kind of seat cushions, if you've got kind of just wooden dining seats that aren't cushioned, add some cushions. It's
Mm-hmm.
just adding all those textures to make it feel more like a home. Something that's a big thing as well is greenery in your florals, especially
Yeah.
now we're coming into spring as well. Get
Mm-hmm.
that pop of colour, whether it be fresh flowers, plants, and then think about the vases that it's in as well. Is it going to be a
Yeah.
bigger vase? Is it going to be a smaller vase? Are you looking for it to be a centerpiece or more of just a eye-catching pop of colour, something daintier? Ceramic pots, perhaps. And again, this doesn't just need to be inside, it can be outside as well. And
Yeah.
that's something you can. Now, this is obviously just one of the topics within this. If you want more tips and some great pieces of information, definitely go and watch the Selling in Spring blog, because that has got a lot more detail
Mm-hmm.
and things you can do with this.
Definitely.
It is, it's not just for the rooms, it's about that welcome into the front door as well. Lighting's a big one, whether it
Mm-hmm.
be, again, table lamps, is it the ceiling pendants? And again, it's not just the lights, it's the bulbs that we're using as well.
Yeah.
Is there something you can do with hidden LED strips, perhaps in the kitchen, or in the kick plates, or is it flickering candles? It doesn't need to be real burning candles. You can get the little ones now that look like it, the kind of
Yeah.
gimmicks. But it's all to create that cozy, inviting, and warming. Well, it's the warmth that's coming into it,
Yeah.
because as we've mentioned, it's not just what we're seeing, it's what we're feeling, it's what we're smelling, and all of those things help with that because we are triggered by our senses. So again, we want to capitalize on that. So whether you want to go on a shopping haul and, you know, go and get some bits and pieces, you can go on a kind of retail mission, whether it be online, in store, or even just reuse things that are in your home, upcycle something as well. If you've got something there and you maybe just want to change the color, there's so many things you can be doing these days with upcycling, recycling. You don't need to buy new either. You can go and thrift, you can go to an antique, you can go to the charity shop. There's so many options out there to make it accessible, just to try and get those pops of colours and accessories and really elevate your home.
There really are, actually. And there's, I mean, if you're in the Levenmouth area, for instance, you've got Jenna May's in Leven. They have got some great antique and thrift items in there, second-hand items that you can buy as well as new things. But again, it's, if you're looking for affordability, it's great to just get something that's a little bit different and unique to your house as well. But one of the things you talked about there is runners and rugs. I think the runner rugs are fantastic as well because they can create a space that looks bigger as well. So you're creating like a bit of a length with the space. So again, it just maybe makes your hallway look larger. And again, you could put nice tall vase in the corner with some nice flowers or something in it as well. And it just makes that room in that entrance point, again, it's the first thing that they're going to come into, make it pop, make it appealing, make them want to walk through the rest of the house, get that positive environment and feeling within them and that positive emotion that's going to continue to make them want to walk through the house. I think that's really important.
Definitely. And you'd obviously mentioned a client that had done that and what a difference that had made.
Huge difference. It was beautiful. It was like a completely different house the way it was staged. It looked fantastic and inexpensive as well. So as you said, Sophie, there's lots of places you can go. You don't need to spend a lot of money, but you can recycle what's in your home as well. Things you've probably forgotten you've got that are hidden in the garage or being decluttered at some point. Just have a little scoot around and see what you have that can be reinvented. Things come back into fashion.
Absolutely, they do. Absolutely. Yes. So then perhaps you're watching this and you're prepping for marketing of your property or you're thinking about the process, but professionally taken pictures aren't just about the marketing of your home. They're about making buyers fall in love. And that's where instructing an agent with outstanding photography will ensure that your listing shines. So do your homework. Before picking an agent, perhaps go on Rightmove, Zoopla, S1 Homes and look through some listings of different agents and see, you'll be able to see, trust me, quite quickly, a stark difference in photography, and you really do get what you pay for, and you'll be able to see quality over quantity, and you'll notice the difference in photography and the listing kind of particulars and what you get when you look at a listing. You'll definitely notice. And then on the back of that, if you're looking for expert advice on getting your home market ready, reach out to us. Absolutely. That's what we're here for. Whether you want to comment on this, we'll absolutely come back to you. Message privately if you prefer to do that. Pick up the phone and call the office. Or if you are enjoying this, and we've mentioned a couple of other shows, you have got the Selling in Spring one, you've got the decluttering blog as well. There is so much information. So we're here to help.
Absolutely. And I think it's a really good point that you make. I think it's about understanding what you need to do, because for a seller, it can be quite a daunting thought, isn't it?
Yes.
I've done, even when I've gone out to do valuations, they're saying, you're just coming to value the house. You're not coming to do pictures, or you're not coming to do anything like that. And I'm like, no, we're here just to help you. And we can give guidance and advice when we're there as well at that point in regards to, is it presented the way it needs to be? Or are there any things that you maybe need to do in regards to moving things around, decluttering, clearing walkways or clearing the fronts, windows, because we want windows to be clear, etc. So it's a good way for you just even to get that outside advice at the beginning, so that you can understand what, if anything, needs to be done. Because actually, sometimes you might think the task's bigger than it really is.
Yes. Or you're being overcritical of your home. We find that a lot as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, as you say, Sophie, lots of great tips and advice, and certainly reach out if you want to hear from us. We can help.
Perfect. Well, there we go. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of your weekend. Have a great time, and you'll see us all again next week.
Yep, you certainly will. Thanks very much. Take care.
Right. Take care. Bye for now.
Thanks. Bye. Bye for now.